A former Sweet Baby Inc. employee got all his talking points from Kim Belair, but also doubled down and claims that the company will be continuing to push its woke agenda. And he even thinks that this is inevitable, saying they're not going to stop us. They're not going to stop us, is what he says. We'll see about that. Roll this up over at thatparkplace.com. You can find the link in the description below. You can also find a link to become a member of the channel and help support me in what I am doing here. So this guy, Grant Roberts, he's a former Sweet Baby Inc. employee who is now the narrative director and associate studio director at Longdo. I would expect anything that company makes to be absolute and complete garbage, infected by woke ideology and Sweet Baby Inc. But he said that the company has no plans to change despite the massive backlash it has received. That has literally caused multiple games to be boycotted and have massive sales declines. We're seeing studios get shut down. Looking at Surgent Studios, completely shut down. But Sweet Baby will continue on. They will continue on, so says Grant Roberts, and they're going to be doubling down. Roberts, who worked with Sweet Baby Inc. as a narrative director for a year and a half, told The Gamer that developers are still working with the company and that the backlash will not stop the company's agenda. He first asserted that companies were not pulling their support from Sweet Baby Inc. When it really reached its apex, when Elon Musk was tweeting about us, companies were reaching out to us privately and showing support. Nobody was pulling that support. I'm not sure if that's really true. We saw Sweet Baby deleted Square Enix from their website as one of their partners. We just saw the PAL Group scrubbing all reference to Sweet Baby Inc. after just announcing a partnership with them, like 2 weeks ago? Publicly on LinkedIn. It was all over their website. They've completely scrubbed it, deleted their post on LinkedIn. He then attempted to explain why there is hardly any support for the company being made publicly. He says, I think the reason why we've had more support privately than publicly is because when people do speak up publicly, we knew that they were opening themselves up to attacks. Well, that's interesting. That's really interesting. We just want to work in the shadows because we don't actually believe in what we're doing. We don't stand for what we're doing. We can't actually take the shots, which I think tells you something right there, right? Don't actually believe in what they're doing. Can't take the hits. If you actually believe it, you take the hits. So I think they know what they're doing is wrong. And that's why they're going to operate in the shadows now. Kim Belair said she's always wanted to operate in the shadows. She said that in that XOXO interview. Just if you don't know who she is, she's the CEO of Sweet Baby Inc. Roberts went on to declare that he wished more companies did speak out publicly to defend Sweet Baby Inc. and its woke agenda. What I personally would have liked to see is more institutions saying that this is wrong, that this is happening, that people are being targeted in this way. I agree. Come out and say that you support Sweet Baby Inc. Let us know where you stand so we can boycott you. So we can laugh as you bankrupt yourself with this defense of the woke agenda. Do it. It's great advice. I wish they would do it too. That Sweet Baby isn't just a DEI company or a company that makes things more woke. Not that there's anything wrong with that in the first place, but even if there was, that's not everything that we do. It would have been nice to see more people and institutions learn the lessons of 10 years ago. That is what you do. You do make things more woke. Kim Belair has said this on multiple occasions. You literally just admitted it. That's not everything we do. So you do it. While he left Sweet Baby in October, he informed The Gamer he would go back. I would go back to work at Sweet Baby in a heartbeat. I would hire Sweet Baby in a heartbeat. Even though I've been doing this for a quarter of a century, I still learned an incredible amount from the people there, both about game development and otherwise. Even with the experiences of the last year and a half, which have been mostly bad, I've learned a lot during that as well. Why'd you leave then? If you go back in a heartbeat, why'd you leave? What's going on? I thought you said that people weren't leaving Sweet Baby. They were still working with them, giving them support in private. Why would you leave? if you want to go back to work with them in a heartbeat. Why aren't you still there? Doesn't really make any sense, right? Maybe it's because they are seeing their contracts dry up and people aren't working with them anymore. That's why they try to burr themselves into the PAL group. And they didn't think we'd find that. We did. Master of the TDS found that. Great work. And then, you just read their description that they've scrubbed from their own website too, right? Where they make it very clear that they're pushing the woke agenda. It says, our mission is to tell better, more empathetic stories while diversifying and enriching the video games industry. We aim to make games more engaging, more fun, more meaningful, and more inclusive for everyone. That's what it says there. Sounds like they make woke games. That's what it says. That's what they do. Next, Robert declares that Sweet Baby's woke agenda is inevitable. He says the world is the way it is now. These games are more inclusive for people. Games are more authentic, and it doesn't matter whether you think that's true or not. It's happening. And so no matter what these people do, they're not going to stop us. They're not going to stop the way that the world is now. These people literally live in delusions of their own creation. Wokeness is not real. It is a giant lie. It does not reflect reality whatsoever. It is absolutely evil. Them pushing this ideology does not make it more authentic, makes it more inauthentic. Just look at what's going on with Assassin's Creed Shadows. They can't get anything right there because they are trying to change history. They're trying to rewrite it. Their whole motto is literally from The Last Jedi. Let the past die, kill it if you have to, rewrite it in our image. That is what they do. Because it does not reflect reality, and that's why you're trying to rewrite it through these video games. Trying to brainwash people, and then you're also trying to humiliate them. And we're going to stop this. That is what we're going to do. We are going to stop this. We're going to push back against this, and we're going to say no. Not only did Robert claim the company's woke agenda is inevitable, he also attempted to claim that Sweet Baby Inc. is not injecting wokeness into video games or strong-arming developers into doing so. He said this: what Sweet Baby has not done is show up at game studios and say, hey, we're making your game woke now or else, even though he literally said that. He's like, remember, he said, what did he say here? I think it was right here. Sweet Baby isn't just a DI company or a company that makes things more woke. Not that there's anything wrong with that in the first place, but even if there was, that's not everything that we do. So he does admit that that's what they do, and it's literally on their About Us section, as we just went over. But they don't do it, is what he says here too. I mean, these people cannot keep their story straight because they are liars. Anyways, he goes on and says, Sweet Baby is a work-for-hire company like a lot of these other consultant companies are. People hire us to do the work. Studios come to Sweet Baby because they want help, because they want to make their game better. No, they come to Sweet Baby because they want to wokeify the game. It's literally what you say you do on your About Us section, and these developers want to pay you to wokeify their games even more than what they're already doing. Heat up mode. One of the most frustrating parts about the events of the last year and a half is just this incredible level of misunderstanding, both deliberate and assisted. It's not how it works. That's not what we do. How many times have we seen this? Oh, these people are just misinformed. That's not really what we do. It's just on our website. It's things that we've said in conferences. It's totally not what we do, though. We just tell you this is what we do, but it's really not what we do. I mean, these people, the gall of these people. Fortunately, no one is gulping down their slop anymore, their lies. No one is believing them. We didn't put pride flags in Spider-Man 2. This has all been on the internet. It's all out there. We didn't make Saga Black and Alan Wake 2. That's not what happens. Now, I don't know if that's the case, but I think there is significant reason to think that Sweet Baby Inc. was indeed involved in those decisions. He then said it fits into the sentiment that it can't possibly be true that these companies want to make their games more inclusive, more authentic, and has to be somebody forcing that on them. Well, no, we actually think that the developers are all in on it too. They literally have DEI policies on all of their websites. So again, this is just utterly ridiculous. They're just trying to gaslight. And unfortunately for Roberts, much of his claims are directly contradicted by Sweet Baby Inc. CEO Kim Belair. Specifically, we just have to go to one presentation. This one that she gave at the Game Developers Conference in 2019. She made abundantly clear what our company's goals are and what kind of tactics it employs to get work. She says, we do narrative development in games and kind of beyond, and we try to bring inclusion, diversity, and new ideas kind of to the industry. Seems pretty clear about what they do there. Injecting wokeness. We need sensitivity readers. We need risk assessment. And these are, like, again, important services that I literally, like, list on every PDF that I send out to be like, hey, I can do risk assessment and sensitivity reading. Sounds about right. Sounds about right. Later on in her presentation, she admitted that she did indeed attempt to get a developer to race swap one of their characters from a stereotypical white Frenchman to a person of color. This is what she said. I once worked on a project where they had an all-white cast where they expressed their desire. Okay, we need to mix it up a bit. How about this character's like stereotypically French? So they have a beret and they have like a striped shirt. And I was like, okay, if you need to do that, can we at least make them a person of color? And they said, oh no, that would be weird. They're already French. So I want to do better than this. So that's what they do. They literally are about race swapping. She literally admits it. So no, Grant Roberts, you aren't going to convince me that Sweet Baby Inc. was not involved with race swapping Saga Anderson in Alan Wake 2. Kim Belair also infamously shared that employees at AAA developers should terrify executives with social media cancel mobs if they do not hire Sweet Baby Inc. and consultancies like them. She said this, if you're a creative working at AAA, which I did for many years, put this stuff up to your higher ups. And if they don't see the value and what you're asking for, when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want. Well, remember, this is 2019. This is before Elon Musk had purchased Twitter, and cancel mobs were the norm. Gina Carano probably being the biggest example of that. Because they have to consider, I say that out loud as a joke, but it's actually very, very true, because if you start to consider the people who are player and audience facing, and you have to deal with mitigating harm and with keeping the sentiment around their game and their project positive, there's like a genuine value that you can impress upon them, both ethically and financially. You can say this is important. Piss these people off. If you don't give me what I want, I'm going to launch cancel mobs on Twitter against you. We are going to attack your company if you do not hire us. That is literally what she is saying. So yes, they were strong-arming developers. It's literally a tactic that Kim Belair was advocating in 2019 during a game developers conference presentation. Like, this happened. It's also a valid discussion to have, because if you're working with a thin narrative budget and you work in AAA, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised or dismayed by the amount of money that marketing can give you. So she literally just wants to enrich herself and her friends, right? She doesn't give a crap about a lot of this for the most part. It's about enriching herself. And she got to the end of her presentation, Belair would also admit that what she's doing is injecting wokeness into the video game industry. None of what we're doing is about ticking boxes or about a veneer of wokeness. We actually have to care about making this stuff. They don't care. They just want to inject the ideology, and they're going to use it to benefit themselves. If they actually cared, they wouldn't be running in the shadows, getting people to scrub everything, scrub the internet, like the PAL group, changing their website. Wouldn't be doing that. I mean, on top of Belair's comments, we have this guy, Cameron Wild, admitting that his goal is burning the games industry to the ground. He shared this during a presentation of the Game Developers of Color Expo. Slides titled, Cool, So Why Am I Here? Features a bullet point that says burning the games industry to the ground. It's right there. Third one. Sweet Baby is representing Sweet Baby in this presentation. And then we got another slide that says, so why am I still here? One of the bullet points says this: to prove that space where whiteness doesn't have to live is where some of the best stories are told. So admitting that there's like a racist company as well. And while to explain this in the presentation, a lot of us who are really fighting for more inclusive games and storytelling don't have a choice when it comes to discomfort. A lot of us who are just existing don't have a choice, which makes this really hard often. But recently I started realizing that discomfort, or the place where whiteness doesn't have to live, is where some of the best stories are told, and it's where genre storytelling lives. This is Sweet Baby Inc. This is who they are. This guy, Grant Roberts, is literally just trying to gaslight. Clearly is living in his own delusions and believes his own lies. But we're not going to believe him. We do not believe his lies, and his lies are easily exposed by his compatriots at Sweet Baby Inc. It's unfortunate for him, but maybe this is the wake-up call that he needs to stop living the lie. But what do you guys make of what Grant Roberts had to say here? I feel like we've seen this from Kim Belair, all the talking points that she's been giving recently. And the idea that they're going to continue doing what they're doing, they're just going to burrow in deeper, which is what they are doing. They are trying to burrow in deeper. Their relationship with the Powell Group is evidence of that. So we have to be even more vigilant about what these companies like Sweet Baby Inc. are doing and are up to. But let me know what you guys make of this in the comments. Remember to always be charitable, but to always speak the truth.